evening, or good morning, as the case may be, depending on where in the world you might be. My name is Siddheshwar Das. I'm a disciple of Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa. And today we are celebrating the birth of Lord Ramchandra. Ramchandra was an ideal king and an amazing incarnation of Krishna himself, of Vishnu, actually. I wanted to invite you to ask any questions that you may have. I'll do my best to answer them and give you whatever insight I can. So go ahead and now they have to write their questions down, right? Oying, they have to write their questions down?
Uh, Personally, they're going to hear the question personally from them.
Oh, okay. So apparently you can use your microphone and your earphones or whatever, and you can speak to me and ask me whatever questions you might have.
Yeah, you can see also their face to face. You're going to meet
Okay,
them.
well that's cool. We'll see your face and you can see
Yeah.
mine. So while we're waiting for your questions, let me just clarify one thing. I was talking with Moying a few minutes ago about Rama, the name Rama, and a common misconception about Rama is that when we chant the Hare Krishna mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare refers to Radharani. Krishna refers to Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Rama does not refer to Lord Ramchandra. Rather, it also refers to Krishna. The meaning is the reservoir of all pleasure. And so this is not a Krishna, Rama, two different, uh, appearances of the personality of Godhead. This is actually the Maha Mantra is simply a prayer to Krishna. Please engage me in your pure devotional service. That's the meaning. So, and now we're ready to take any questions you might have.
Regarding Siddhasudas, regarding uh, s- some of the meaning of Rama is the giver of pleasure. Can you give us some information regarding he's the giver of pleasure?
The giver of pleasure. Well, actually, Rama, as in Ramchandra, means one who is pleasing, one who is at peace. Um, and so this is the nature of the ideal king, Ramchandra. Chandra actually refers to the moon, and it refers to Ram's beauty. The beauty of his countenance was so beautiful it reminded you of the moon. Also, as I said, Ram means peace. It means one who is pleasing. And as an ideal king, Ramchandra was, I mean, even though he appeared at the end of during the Treta Yuga, his governance was so amazing and so pleasing to the people that it was almost as if Satya Yuga had come to pass again, even during Treta Yuga. So this was the amazing result of Lord Ramchandra's kingship or his rule at the time.
Yes.
Anything else?
Uh, Yes, it's
Is
a
anybody
very,
watching?
yes, there is. Maybe they're shy right now.
Don't be shy. Step up.
Uh, Actually, just continue, because right now there's some people who's watching right now. Just continue talking, see this with us.
Well, you know, there's so many wonderful stories from the Ramayana. Uh, a couple of my favorite stories. Actually, you heard some of these stories during uh, the uh, the PowerPoint presentation that Balakrishna presented a few minutes ago. Uh, the amazing Swayambara, as it were, of Sita when Ramchandra was taken by Vasistha to the city where Sita was. Sita's father had one test for whoever wanted Sita's hand, and that was that he be able to uh, pull, to lift and pull this amazing bow that actually belonged to Lord Shiva. And the bow required 10,000 men to lift it and bring it into the arena. And yet Ramchandra lifted it easily with one hand. And not only did he string the bow, this was the test, to be able to string the bow, to put the string, load the string on the bow. But he strung the bow and then he pulled the bow as if it had an arrow in it until it broke. This is a simple illustration of the power of God Himself. Lord Ramchandra is an incarnation of Vishnu. And again, some people misunderstand that uh, all of the different incarnations of Vishnu are the same. We are very fortunate to understand that Krishna is not an incarnation of Vishnu, but rather Vishnu is an incarnation of Krishna. And therefore, he is the supreme original personality of Godhead. This is different from all other incarnations of God that have appeared. So, on this day, we celebrate the coming of Ramchandra to bring the governance of the ideal king, to live as an example that even though he was born as the Yuvaraj, even though when he was born, he was almost, by the time of his birth and that he was the firstborn and so forth, he would have been the king of Ayutthaya. And however, because of the machinations of Mantara, who didn't like Ramchandra for whatever reason, she convinced one of King Dasarath's wives, Kaikeyi, that Ramchandra did not deserve to be the king, but rather Kaikeyi's son deserved to be the king. And so through this intrigue and all of this deception, Ramchandra was banished from the kingdom. And here, God Himself, incarnation of Vishnu, allows Himself, takes on the humility of poverty, having to live out in the forest with no visible means of support, having to grow their own food, and make his own way in the forest, and with only two companions, his wife and his brother Lakshman. And the forest in any time is a dangerous place. But in those days, tigers, bears, all kinds of creatures, snakes of huge size and very poisonous were commonplace. I mean, tigers in India were almost as common as people in the forests of India during that time. So it was not at all. I mean, today in the forest of India, you can walk for miles and not see a single tiger, but that's just because, you know, we've been killing them all. But in those days, there were quite a few, and there was also rakshasas. These are demonic people who like to eat other people.
Wow.
They hung out in the forest too, and Ramchandra didn't, you know, say, "I am Vishnu, I will rule as the king." No, he wasn't like Donald Trump. He was very humble and actually more interested in setting a good example of what a true king is all about. Not that they're focused on being the king, but rather that they do what society bids for them, or what the rules of society bid. And then if something needs to be changed, when they have the power to do that, they do what they need to do. He was known for his beneficence. If people did wrong, if they did, you know, committed some crime or something, he was known for his just uh, punishments. That his punishments were fair in accordance with whatever the person did wrong. He was known for his geniality, his generosity. If someone was poor in his kingdom, he made sure that they had whatever they needed, and so forth. So, where are we, Boying?
Yeah. Actually, I've seen Ellen. She's
Also.
Ellen. Are you there?
Ellen,
Yes po. Haribol, sir. Haribol. Can you hear me, sir?
Aribol,
Haribol.
you have a question?
Okay. After the when Lord Rama and Sita came back, did they rule? Did Lord Rama rule on?
Ayodhya? Well, the short answer is yes. When they
Mm,
returned, uh, you may know the Indian celebration of Devavali or
yes.
Diwali. Uh, this marks the return of Sita Ram to the throne, and they did rule. Hanuman, Lakshman, and Ram and Sita ruled for many years.
Mm,
Not without controversy, however. There was a good deal of controversy. Uh, there was somebody made a big deal about Sita. Oh, I remember uh, Sita having two men in the forest for so long. Some people started, you know, gossiping about, you know, what did she do, and oh my goodness, you know, she enjoyed two men, had the company of two men while she was in the forest for so many years. Um, and this caused some difficulty for some time, but it was eventually resolved. And um, you know, you know, this. I mean, look, this all happened like a million years ago, and still you can't get away from fake news. You know, it's something in human nature that's so weird. But you know, it's the fact is that yes, they did they did rule for many years. Any other question, my dear?
not for now. Yun, so
How about
Manda
you?
Haribol.
Thank
Oh,
you,
Bala Krishna is
Haribol.
there.
Haribo, you have a question? I can't hear you. I guess you don't have a question. You're just going to smile? Okay. You got to turn on.
Si Balak.
You got to turn on your
Meron.
microphone if you want to ask a question, Balakrishna.
Hindi siya
Can't hear you.
Okay.
We have technical difficulties here from time
Yeah.
to time. This is our first attempt at, quarantine Sankirtan, as it were. So, on my radio show, I played a song where that sounded like the Bee Gees, and instead of saying staying alive, it said we're in quarantine. So this coronavirus is managing to make a lot of people's lives miserable, including, those of us who are chanting. I can't tell you how much I miss, going to Binyan and participating in kirtan. And the association of the devotees there is just overwhelming. Those of you who have families who are able to, chant with your families and have a reading with your families and maybe do artik with your families, this is really, really good. It's a rare, it's a privilege that I unfortunately am unable to participate in due to my own karma. But it's something that you should embrace, especially at this time when, you're supposed to be quarantining yourself indoors, as it were. It's a great opportunity for worship, for chanting, for glorification of the Lord. So we're still working on your questions. If you have a question, feel free to ask it. You should be able to open up a microphone and ask, but there may be some technical difficulties. If that's not possible, there should also be a place where you can make a comment. And I believe it's on the right corner of your screen. You should be able to write down a comment or a question if you have one. So you can do that as well. I'm hearing some sound. There it is, chat. I see the orange thing says chat. From Maku to everyone. Haribol Namaste. Haribol Maku. So again, if you have a question, you can write it down in the chat area and we'll be sure and talk it over. I hear some buzzing, some audio buzzing. I'm not sure what that is about.
Saan daw yung buzzing?
Also, I see a young lady in France, or is it Marie? What is that? Marie May?
Yeah, I think she's from Santa Rosa.
She's from where?
Santa Rosa.
Oh, Santa Rosa, the Philippines. Okay.
Yeah.
So, Maria, if you have a question, you can feel free to ask it, or you can chat. You can use the chat. We're here doing live kirtan, live artik, live PowerPoint with the wonderful story of Ramchandra. My name is Siddheswar Das, and we're hoping that this is going to be a question and answer period. I feel like I'm on stage and we're waiting for the, for the star to come out. But anyway, anyone who's watching, feel free to chat, ask a question via chat or on camera. No problem.
There's a question
Uh-huh.
from Melo Macau G. Del Rosario. In the time of Krishna, did something like the coronavirus occur now? And if so, how do they solve?
Well, in the time of Krishna, that was quite a while ago, 5,000 years ago. There, to the best of my recollection, there were all kinds of plagues, but they were usually not brought about by germs. I think germ centered uh, uh, pandemics are a creation of Kali Yuga, to the best of my knowledge. Back in the day, they had demons, and they had plenty of people who went around killing everybody. I guess they didn't. I guess they didn't need germs. My wife Lydia, she says, that this is like Mother Earth's cleansing, and you have to believe that that's probably true. We have raped and pillaged Mother Earth to the unbelievable extent, and the fact that she fights back and tries to cleanse the earth of all of the bacteria, namely the human race, that are poisoning her, is not to be unexpected. So I think this pandemic, these pandemics, whether it's the MERS or SARS or the flu back in 1918, 1920, again, thousands and thousands of people died all around the earth with that as well. So the earth has to cleanse. Any other questions? I see Alan Hope. Is that right? Alan Hope Meds. And this Maria. I'm looking at Maria right now.
Yes, Haribo po.
Haribo. You have a question, Maria?
No.
No?
No po. Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's fine. Alan, do you have a question? If you have a question and you're shy to be on camera, then just write it down in the chat box. Okay.
Sir Bala dun sa Sir Bala. Can you hear me? Dito po sa right side. Sa baba. Para magkaroon kayo ng audio.
I think we're still having a few technical difficulties.
Yeah.
But in any case, the chat box is open, so you should be able to chat your question if you have one. I think once again, it's amazing how shy people get when you ask them if they have questions. It's one cultural difference between the Philippines and other countries and America. In America, if you ask for questions, even if people don't have questions, they'll raise their hand and they'll ask whatever silly thing is on their mind. But here in the Philippines, we're afraid that we're going to look weird, or we'll ask a question that everybody else knows, and there's no such thing as a stupid question. If you don't know the answer, then it's not a stupid question because you don't know the answer. So, boy, I'm looking at Alan. You're looking pretty mean there, Alan.
Hello. Haribol.
Namaste. Haribo.
Namaste.
Good to see you. How are you coming with the Bhagavad Gita? Are you reading it?
Yes, sir. I'm reading it.
I'm glad to hear that. Have you gotten what chapter are you on?
I'm in chapter 5, ending at chapter 5, almost at chapter 6.
Oh,
I will
good.
be starting chapter 6 around tomorrow.
Okay. When you get to chapter 9, you'll be halfway.
Yeah.
Try to read a little bit every day. If you don't have a Bhagavad Gita, you can order them. You can order an online copy, or you can ask me for an online copy. I'll be happy to send you a copy for online reading. Okay. I have copies of a number of scriptures that can be shared online. Happy to share them with you.
Yes, sir. Okay.
From Maku to everyone, any news how Srila Prabhupada is doing now? I know security. Oh, I can't read anymore. See if I can bring that up.
There's a question. Who is Rama?
Who is what?
Rama.
Who is Rama?
Who is Rama?
Yeah.
Ramchandra appeared about 1 million or so years ago as the 7th incarnation of Vishnu and as the son of King Dasarath. And the reason for his appearance, it was sometime after the Kshatriya race was almost completely destroyed by Parasuram because they became corrupted and very, very sinful. And so Parasuram killed most of them. And Ramchandra then appeared to reestablish good governance, and to show the qualities of an ideal king as an incarnation of Vishnu, only an incarnation of Vishnu could do. And so Ramchandra had a wife, Sita Devi, and Lakshman, Bharat, and Shatrughna were his 3 brothers. There were 4 of them altogether. And his story is just very, very, it's amazing. It's as thrilling as any story you would read about today. And you can read it in a book called the Ramayana by Valmiki. Again, I have online copies. If you want, I can send one to you. It's very, very intriguing, very, very nice story. Much of which, if you saw the PowerPoint presentation earlier, a lot of that, that's all taken from the Ramayana. However, there's a lot more to it. There's a lot more to it than Bala Krishna could include. As far as I know, Srila Prabhupada's just fine. Bam. Sure, every precaution is being taken. If anyone that's listening or watching has a question, I'm going to have to leave in about 10 minutes. So now's the time to ask a question, if you can, as quickly as you can. If you ever get a chance,
Arbol Balakrishna, you hear us? No.
he hears you, but we can't hear him.
Oh,
You've got a microphone on your earphones. I don't know why it doesn't work. Oh, your microphone is off. I see your microphone is
Yeah.
off. Turn your microphone on. Click it. Click the microphone thing there. You don't see it? I see it right now. I see it. And I see it on your picture. It's on the left, my left. It's a little icon. Looks like a microphone. Whether it's got a red line through it, that means it's off. So your microphone is off. If you click it, it'll go on.
Mute.
So that,
Yeah, Paul's got his microphone on. Marie's got her microphone on.
yeah.
Another person that could do it is Bala Atma. Bala Atma, you have control of the microphones. You can control that as well. Alan's got his mic on.
Yes, sir.
Oh, it looks like, say something, Bala. I see Ellen. I see Ellen's name. Your microphone is still showing off, Bala Krishna. Oh, there you are.
Haribol.
There you are. Yeah.
Haribol.
Haribol. Okay.
Haribol.
Haribol, Bala
Haribol
Krishna.
po.
Haribol, namaste. So I'll just
Namaste.
take off my earphones.
Okay.
Haribol, namaste. That's why.
Haribol.
Namaste. Namaste, Bala.
Sitaram ki jai.
Right.
So I'll just listen.
Okay. Okay. Like I said, we're going to have to draw this to a close in about another 5 or 6 minutes. So hopefully we'll have it, more together next time. I hope we'll be able to get more questions. And I'm terrible at answering questions, but I love to do it. I don't know why. I'm hoping that I'll get some insight. As Acharya says, not only do I give you the best answer that I can, but I also learn, because I learn when I find myself words coming out of my mouth and I'm listening. My goodness, I didn't know that. And it's just whatever insight Krishna gives you to answer a question. Hopefully, if your heart's in the right place, you give the right answer.
Sir, I just wanted to know, is there was a movie about Lord Rama rescuing her wife?
Rescuing
Because I
Sita?
remembered when I was, yes, sir. Because I certainly remember that there was a certain Indian movie talking a story about the epic on the about the what was being talked about.
Alan, I can assure you that there have been multiple movies made in India of the Ramayana. Rescuing
Ramayana.
Sita, the fight with Ravana, all of that. India has the second largest movie factory in the world, and they've done the Mahabharata, they've done the Ramayana, they've done the Bhagavad Gita, they've done all of those things, but they do it in a very stylized fashion generally, and for Westerners, it's often very difficult to really watch. Of course, the other problem is that it's usually done in Hindi, so we don't understand it. And sometimes lately, some Indian movies have had translation that you can read, but whoever's doing the translation is often an Indian, And so you get an Indian English translation, which may or may not make a whole lot of sense to you, you know? So it can be difficult to watch, but nevertheless, if you know the story, that makes it easier because then you can kind of follow along. There are stories about King Kamsa and Agasura and the adventures of Arjuna and all these things. The years that the Pandavas spent in the forest. Indians have made movies about all of the scriptures, and also, you know, stories of Lord Shiva and everything, you know, anything that's ever been written, the Indians have made a movie about it. Trust me. You might be able to find something online, but you have to be careful. You have to be careful because for many, many years, only recently has Vaishnavism been come into its own, as it were, in terms of Indians understanding this devotional service, this bhakti yoga, as a bona fide path. And up until recently, Indian philosophy has basically been this very impersonalist, I am Goddess philosophy, and it's reflected in the way that they tell their stories. So you need to be very careful. Okay. Thank you for that,
Okay.
Alan. Any other question?
There's another question
Yes.
coming from Melo Macau. His question is, do we still have to face these problems? Do we still have Krishna with us?
Do we still have to face what problem? Do we still have to face what problems? Yes, we have to face all problems. And the reason that we can face whatever problems we have is because we have Krishna with us. I mean, goodness gracious. If you have Krishna with you, nothing can hurt you, nothing can harm you, nothing can you know, get in your way. If you can imagine having the most powerful being in the universe by your side as your friend, as your protector, you know, I don't think that there was a moment that Lakshman ever thought that, you know, oh gosh, I'm so scared. No, because Rama was by his side. And the only one that was ever a little bit afraid was Sita after Marichi appeared in the forest as a bejeweled deer. When they were in the forest, Ram and Lakshman and Sita were in the forest. Actually, they were by their homestead, and Marichi appeared as a deer, and he would go back and forth in the clearing, just a few hundred yards from the homestead, and then he would seem to disappear, and then he'd appear in another part of the clearing, and then he would seem to disappear again, and then he would appear in another part, and then he would seem to disappear. And Sita's like, oh, what a beautiful deer. Oh, Ramchandra, oh, please, my dear husband, go and get that deer for me. Please capture that deer. I want to raise him. And so Ramchandra said, no, it's just some trick. Don't worry about it. And then Sita just kept insisting, as I'm sorry to say, but as women are wont to do from time to time, I want it. I want it. You please go get it. I can't live without it. You are my husband. You go get that deer for me. Otherwise, I don't think you love me anymore, or something like that. And so Ramchandra reluctantly told Lakshman, you stay here with Sita. You don't let her out of your sight. You stay here and you guard her. Make sure that no one comes here, no one comes near. Don't let her out of your sight. And he goes off to try to find the deer. So he goes off and he tries to find the deer, and Marichi this demon, he's actually the uncle of Ravan. He leads Rama farther and farther into the forest, farther and farther away from where their cottage is, where their cabin is. And he keeps appearing, and then he would like disappear, and then he would appear further on in the forest, then he would disappear, and then he would appear further on, and Ramchandra keeps going and going, and he realizes very quickly that this is no ordinary deer. This is some demon, trying to entice him. But he told his wife, I told Sita that I would get it, so I'm gonna go get it. And so he goes deeper and deeper into the forest, and finally Ram decides, well, I'm just gonna kill the thing, and I'll bring it back to Sita or whatever. And so he gets an arrow and he shoots the deer, and the deer turns into Marich, this demon. And with his last breath, the deer imitates Ram's voice in a loud voice that echoes throughout the jungle. He says, "Oh, Ram! Oh, Lakshman!" And he dies with Rama's name on his lips. There's an interesting backstory to that too, because Ravana said that if he didn't do it, then Ravana threatened to kill Marich, and Marich decided he'd rather be killed by Ram than to be killed by Ravana. So they back at the cabin, they hear this voice coming from deep in the forest. Oh, alas, Ram, alas, Lakshman, alas, Sita. And Sita is immediately like, what? Oh my gosh, Ram's in danger. Oh, you have to go save him. You have to go, Lakshman, go save him. And Lakshman is like, no, Rick, it's just a demonic trick. Don't worry about it. She's like, you want me all to yourself, don't you? You don't care about Ramchandra. You don't care about the king. You don't care about anything except yourself. Now, if you don't go and get him, that just proves me right. You just want me for yourself, don't you? And she's like, doing all this stuff. And so Lakshman reluctantly says, puts her in the cabin and draws a line around the cabin. And this line is like a mystic force field that no one can cross. She can go out of it, but no one can come in. If they come in, they'll die. So he says, don't let anyone in. Don't let anyone in except me. When you see me come back, then you can let me in, but don't let anyone else in. So he goes off to try to find Ramchandra. And while he's gone, Ravan disguises himself as a poor beggar, as a poor Brahmin beggar, dirty, tattered clothes, just a tattered dhoti, just, long matted hair. And he goes up to the line and he calls for Sita, young lady, I am a poor Brahmin. I need some alms, please. Don't refuse me. I need your generosity. Please, I am hungry. I am starving. Please give me something to eat. And she, of course, is fooled completely, taken in, and she's like, at first she's a little bit suspicious, and then as he keeps up the act and everything, and so she goes up to the line and she throws him some food, and he's like, what, you don't trust me? I'm but a poor beggar. You don't want to allow me to give you thanks? Please come and let me thank you properly. finally, she steps over the line, and of course, Ravan turns into his own 10-headed, 10-armed self and grabs her, throws her into his Pushpaka chariot, and races off towards Sri Lanka. And there you have it. So, you know, it's, you know, I forgot what the question was. I got so much into the story, I forgot what the question was. But anyway, that's the story. I have to take my leave. I have to go. But thank you very much, everybody. Hopefully next time we'll be able to, you know, have more questions. And, you know, you won't have to just hear me speak. But thank you for joining us. And I hope you'll be
Yeah.
back again next time. Well, you can be sure and give me a couple of days notice if you'd like you know, me to do some questions or give a
Yeah.
speech or talk or anything, let me know.
Yeah, actually, the plan is we're going to do this every night, so that
Are you going to want me every night?
actually actually since Krishna give us the quarantine, we're going to use this opportunity, this 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 the program that we're using right now. We're going to use this.
You know, this
Even
could, if this is successful, it could change the way things are done all over the world. But anyway, just give me a couple days notice. I'm sure I'd love to be with you at least, you know, 2 or 3 days a week. If I can help. I just, I love the association. It's wonderful to associate with all of you wonderful devotees. So
see this with us.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very
Namaste.
much.
Thank you, sir.
Hare
Haribo,
Krishna.
thank you. Namaste.
Haribo, thank you very much.
Haribo, haribo,
Haribo.
Harbol,
Sitaram ki jai.
Haribo.
Yeah.
Haribo.
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 Sir.
Harbol Bala. Hare Krishna. May. Hare Krishna. Alan.
Haribo
Thank you
po.
very much.
Haribo po.
Goodbye na ba to?